Hello and welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. I'm your girl, Victoria Odekomaya, and I'm happy to participate in the 4th edition of Podcasthon. So for 1 week, all podcasters around the world, a lot of podcasters around the world are supporting a charity of their choice. And today I am super excited and happy to support Nyla Nova Foundation. So without much ado, let's get into it. Hi, my friend, how are you doing?
Hi, friend. How are you?
I am so happy to have you here today and just to talk about all the incredible things that you're doing with Nyla Nova Foundation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, so for those that don't know, well, we're going to get to the introduction. I am also a board member of Nyla Nova, so this was a no-brainer, okay? I had to. So for those that don't know who you are, let's start with, your background, a little bit about that.
Okay, so I am Nakeisha Washington. I go by the Global STEMversity.
Yes.
And so I was a teacher, assistant principal, STEM coach, mother, and I just love education. I love STEM education, and I wanted others to love it. But sometimes when they would come into my classroom, especially girls of color, they didn't see themselves. They didn't see them as confident. They didn't understand. They were thinking that you had to be like this scientist, super scientist to understand STEM, which those that don't know what STEM stands for is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right.
And so I was like, I have to do something. I have to do something. And by me being a middle school, high school teacher, it was like, you can't wait till then. That's too late. That's too late. And then I had my daughter, Nyla. And so when she was about 2 years old, she was asking questions and she was curious. And so I was like, okay, we have to do something. And so we started with the book. And then that just kind
Which one of them?
Okay. The first book was actually the activity book.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, right there, yes. And so this was for... since she was between 2 years old, so we wanted something that she can do at that age, but get her interested in science. And so it is an activity book where they're matching information like beakers and to the picture. They're doing mazes. There's some couple of reading comprehension. And so it's stuff for the lower levels because I was like, why wait till they get into middle school to start learning those languages? And so we started with this one.
Nice.
And it's definitely a picture. I was very adamant about the illustrator that she would make sure it looks just like Nyla. And I was super excited. She was in high school.
Oh, wow.
And now she's going
The illustrator
was a black female in high school. And I just saw on Instagram, didn't even know she was in high school.
Wow.
And now she's become a doctor.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, but she still illustrates for us. And so I'm
amazing.
super sad.
Isn't that cool that she's in STEM too?
Yes,
right?
yes. And that's kind of what I saw her. She was drawing STEM pictures on Instagram. And this was like in 2016. So, this was just starting.
Right.
And I was like, look at these pictures. These are gorgeous. And I didn't realize she was in high school. And so I had to ask her mom. I was like, can she please do this for us and stuff? Because she couldn't enter into a contract without being, but it just shows you don't have to be, of age old and stuff. You can be young and still follow your dreams and those. And that's what I tell our students, like, follow your passion and you don't have to wait. Like, you got all this access now that we didn't have.
Right. So tell us, who is Nyla Nova?
So Nyla Nova is based off of my daughter, Nyla Danae. And so she's Nyla's like alter ego. It's like Beyonce has Sasha Fierce.
Yes.
Nyla Nova. And Nova means star and new beginnings.
Oh, I love that.
And so and Nyla's name actually means champion and winner.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't even know
those
that
two
yet.
together,
Yes.
it's like you can't lose.
Right,
You
cannot.
And so we definitely wanted others to see themselves in this character. And so it's Nyla being the science superhero that encourages and give that confidence and inspires young ladies, especially girls of color, but all students, that they can be powerful STEM leaders. And so that's what Nyla Nova stands for, and that's who she is.
That's amazing. And I know one of the things that is really important to you is also putting the fun in STEM.
Oh, man, yes. So when I was a teacher, one of the things I used to tell my students, if I'm going to be here for 8 hours with you guys, we're going to have fun.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to be here bored and sad, And so I was never like this 30, 40-minute lecturer. I was always like, let's start with a problem. let's figure it out, let's work together. And so I always became like their partner in learning instead of me just lecturing to them. And so I would like bring in music, we would play games. And so I just kind of incorporated those into Nyla Nova.
And that's so cool because like, I think that if we're not doing that with kids, even adults too, on social media, if you're not adding some entertainment, nobody wants to learn, right? So I love that you're making it fun and, practical, right?
Yes.
So I know we've been on several trips, several activities that we've done. And one of the things that really that's important or like that makes me love what we do so much as a board member is that like we experiences that may not otherwise be every day for people we get to do and expose those kids to. Like, one time we were horseback riding and also connecting it to STEM because you might think, oh, well, yeah, how does that, but we connect those types of activities, right?
Yes.
In the cave too.
Yes. So what she's talking about is Nyla Nova STEM Ventures. And so what we wanted to do is take learning out of the classroom. And so most of our classes are not in schools. They're in churches, the Children's Museum and things of that nature. And so with the STEM Ventures, we, like you say, connected with STEM, but we go out into the community. And so some of our STEM Ventures have been to the caves in Kentucky, where we toured the caves, but then we also did the ropes course, which was very interesting.
Right.
And so adults and kids conquer some of their fears.
Right.
And that's something we're teaching them confidence and trying new things because we're quick to say, I can't do that. I don't. And then they did it, and they were like, oh, my God, I didn't know I can do that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about of all ages.
Right.
Like, it's really amazing and fun to watch others, not just young kids, get excited about STEM.
Yeah.
And so another trip we did was that we did the horseback riding. That was like our culminating event for the summer where all the families came out and, once again, conquered some of their fears, but they learned about the horses. They learned the temperaments. They learned how to walk a trail with the horses, and they got to see the environment and nature and stuff. And so that was also wonderful. And some of the things we did during the summer was Nyla Nova STEM Aquatics, where we went whitewater rafting down the White River here in Indianapolis. We did some canoeing, and then we did some boating in Geist, and then we did water testing and stuff. So it's taking the learning outside of the classroom, but into our communities.
Yeah. And the other thing that you kind of touched on a little bit is like, it's not just the kids, it's the entire family.
Yes. And I'll tell you how they got started. As a teacher, as an educator, I always wanted to bring in the parents as partners because I felt like if I'm doing these great things in class and then they go home and they are like, the parents are like, well, what are you doing? And this, because, I'm a parent. So I know I would be like, what are you doing? And so I was like, let's have a program where we're inviting parents. And one of the things we realized is a lot of parents didn't have a strong STEM background.
Right.
So they didn't even know what STEM was. And then they were like, well, we never got to dissect anything. And so now we got 5-year-olds dissecting cow hearts and squid and frogs and stuff. Because why wait till high school?
That's right.
And so we have a lot of even family members that was saying, well, I was thinking about going into nursing. I said, well, see if you can cut the squid up. Because you're going to see some stuff that's a little yuckier than the squid. And so then I'm like, this will kind of be your test instead of going out spending all this money to test to see if this could be a career choice. And so that's what we like to give them exposure to different types of careers.
I love that. So, a lot of people, they tend to change their majors, sophomore year, and even happened to me. Well, I didn't change my major, but I came in wanting to be a doctor. And it was after I graduated and I visited a hospital that I was like, oh,
exactly. Like, this is a little much.
This is too much, because I was just sobbing, seeing people sick. And, as a doctor, you're supposed to be like helping them, not crying. So I was like, so you're helping them starting to think early on of what that could look like, And I also like that it's not just that, it's also seeing what's possible.
What's possible,
right? Because I remember there was a event that you invited me to come speak, right? So as a former scientist, right, I was telling when we had a board meeting last week, this past weekend, and we were talking about how kids need to see that this is possible. Like being a scientist is not, you don't need two heads, right? Like it's not. it's his flesh and blood, right? This is,
yes.
just seeing that is possible, someone of a different background or like an immigrant, a black person, like if she could do it, that kind of thing. So I love that a lot.
Yes. So you're talking about we did a spring break camp with girls at Ivy Tech. And then for our lunch and learn, the girls would bring their lunches, but we would bring in guest speakers. And you were one of our guest speakers, but you did amazing.
Thank you.
But you came in as a scientist, but you also talked about photography.
Yes.
And the kids were taking pictures, they were using your camera. And so that was showing them just different sides of things. And that's one of the things I tell them too. Even with me being a science teacher, I said, this has taken me around the world.
Right.
And so people have to dream big.
Yes.
And so, but sometimes if they don't see it or don't realize it's possible, even with the internet now, they're still in their house, but they can see in China, but they haven't been there.
Right.
We're trying to get them to go there.
Yes.
We're trying to get them to experience those things.
Yeah,
and stuff,
because I know there's also some STEM ventures, or I don't know if that's what we're calling it, but like the travel around the world.
Yeah, STEM ventures as well, yes. And so just Nyla and I have taken families to London and Paris.
Yeah.
We've been to South Korea and Hong Kong. And this last year we went to Japan and Spain. And
Yeah,
stuff,
and so like it's expanding beyond even the United States.
Yes, that's why I call myself the global STEM sensation.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I'm spreading STEM cheer on a global platform.
That is amazing. So some people might wonder, like, why STEM? Like, why is it such a big deal? What is the traditional education, where does that lack in terms of why we're doing STEM?
Right. So one of the things is, like I said, I was a middle school, high school science teacher. Science is the S in STEM, but there's so much more to it. And so a lot of the elementary schools and early learning schools, they didn't really push science because some of them were fearful of themselves. They I know reading, I can do some elementary math, but if I started getting into the STEM, they felt like it was too advanced. And I'm like, no. It's learning about the world around us. It's learning about being curious, just asking those questions and finding those answers. And so that's why it's important, because if we can get kids as early as 3 years old learning about STEM, talking about it, embracing it, being curious about their world around them, then they may not grow up into be engineers, but they're going to be problem solvers, they're going to be critical thinkers, and they're going to ask these questions that in this 21st century, we need it, because there's a lot of things going on, even like in the age of AI now. It's some things I see online and I'm like, is that AI? Is that real? And we need to teach our kids early on, because the world is changing so fast. And that's what STEM is about. It's about learning about the past, but also about the world that's today that may be in 3 years, it's going to even look different, even more different. So that's what it's about. And so that's why it's very important that we don't wait today in high school, because that's what happened to me. I was always smart. I always got the good grades. And I was a junior in high school, and one of my assistant principals was like, well, you should go for engineering. I didn't know what an engineer was. Wow. So I applied for college. I'm going to be an engineer. And we didn't have the internet like that back then. So then I applied and then went to school for engineering. And I was like, I love this, but I think I want to teach it. And so I miss teaching kids. I didn't want to be behind a computer and stuff all the time. And so, but I didn't know. That's what someone told me, go for that, because I was never exposed. I don't want that to be for our kids. I want them to be able to see marine biologists, zoologists, paleontologists, just all the different types, because then you never know what their curiosity will lead them to.
Oh, that's so important also, because it seems like they're coming out even smarter these days, the kids, right?
Yes.
And if we're not giving them, putting more good information into them, they're curious already anyway, and they're just going to start looking for other things to fill that space.
Yes,
we need to really be intentional about exposing them to the right stuff.
Expose them to the right stuff. And exactly, because my 5-year-old granddaughter, she's 6 now, but she knows how to use a phone, a tablet. She sends us video messages and emojis all day. We was like, who taught her that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's so cute. When she sends us stuff, she types her name, Simone. But we know it's her.
Right.
But it's that's her practicing how to spell her name and different things. And so some people they shouldn't be on technology so early. I think we should expose them, but there is a limit. We still want them to have those foundational skills as well.
Yeah. So I know that, you've done such incredible work in the community and even really around the world. Do you have any stories that you can share about family or kids that is impact, such huge stories that you can share?
And it's so many. And I'm trying not to get emotional.
I know.
But when we go into the schools, the different organizations, some of the problems that we're having is, and this is a saying that I just heard and it stuck with me, compassion without capital is unsustainable. And so we go into these schools and they may only have us on a 6-week contract. At the end of the 6 weeks, they were like, we don't have the funding to keep you. And to watch kids cry, it breaks our heart. And then we'll see kids that we haven't seen in 4 years, and they're like, that's Nyla Nova. Like, you think we're rock stars. Like, if I see them in the mall, they're running up to me, calling me professors, and their family like, professor? Like, you went to school, in college? But that's what is missing, is that we want it to be sustainable because they are really impacted. Even families have stopped us and was like, how can I stay connected? What can I do? And it's the funding is the hardest part. And, we know we're transforming lives and changing lives, but it's just the compassion's there. We have the equipment, we have, the love for it, but it's the capital and the funding is always a problem. But to see those kids light up and the families realize that we're transforming lives is amazing. And giving them new experiences.
Yeah. Yes. Honestly, that's why I really feel like, you work, I've seen a horse once ever in my life. I've ridden a horse once a long time ago, but I was on that trip and it felt like a whole new experience to me. And I was like, wow. And my kids who got a chance, actually, they've never been on a horse. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Most people haven't. You talk about it. And this is what I wanted to show, that it was right in Lawrence Township when we went to the White Rivers by Marion University. These are things right here in their community that they don't even realize is here. We don't have to go out of the state, out of here to experience those things. And it's right up the street. And that was one of the things that we really wanted to make happen for our families and our community.
Yeah, and I love that because not only are you teaching them about STEM, you're also teaching them about the community.
Yes, that's what
because
it is.
they're going to grow up to be proud Indianans.
Yes,
right?
and that's what we want.
Yes,
we want to build the next talent pipeline, but you got to get them to want to love what they're doing and love the community that they're in. Absolutely. And so that's what we say. We're always building strong communities.
Right. So I know you're doing a lot of things to make this accessible.
Yes.
We've talked a little bit about some of the, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about this, but the van and some of the other things that you're doing to bring STEM to the community. Do you want to go into that at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're doing a mobile connect because one of the things is that we want to make STEM accessible for all. Right. That's always been our goal. So we know some of the affluent areas, they have some type of STEM program or their families can pay for an extensive STEM programming, but not all. Right. And we did not want funding or capital or something to deter or location to not being able to be accessible. And so what we have now is what we're working on is getting a STEM van, a trailer that's decorated, and inside is an actual lab. Yeah. And so we can pull up to the schools and the kids can come out, and instead of them going to off-site, they're on-site, their teachers are there with them, but they're learning in a STEM lab with actual STEM professionals. We have people from IU Health. We have people from Eskenazi. We have Eli Lilly. And so those are the things that we want to expose to those communities that don't have that access. Yeah. Another way that we're making it accessible is through our STEM kits. Right. And so we have our little STEM kits.
Yes.
And so what we're doing is, and what's nice about this, we are manufacturing our own STEM kits in the state of Indiana.
Wow.
And so that's, bringing jobs here. That's also keeping money inside our communities.
Right.
What the STEM kits allow us to do is be able to make it accessible for not just here in Indiana, but around the world. And so, and in the nation. And so we've had our first campus in Arizona that's now become a licensed campus because they love what Nyla Nova was doing, but they were always like, well, how do we get Nyla Nova here? And it's, we're building a strong army, but we can't be everywhere.
Right.
But now this actually allows Nyla Nova to be everywhere because they have the books, they have the workbooks, now they have the STEM kits, and then they have the online portal, and we're currently working on an app. And so we don't want anything to stop them. We want them to be accessible. We don't want any barriers.
That's so amazing. I love your passion. This is why me being a part of the board means so meaningful. It's my first board, right? And I just love everything that you do. That's why, for anyone watching, we're going to be putting the links to all of these resources in the description. But Nyla Nova, I strongly believe that they're doing such an immensely great work in our community to help our children be more educated and be more open and be more accessible, right, to STEM. And in so many ways, it's not just, one way, we're talking about workbooks, we're talking about STEM kids, activities, and all the things, and making it fun too. Because anyway, anytime with you is always fun. So I know. It's awesome. Wow. Okay. So we're talking about, if you have unlimited resources, what would you do right now to change STEM?
So one of the things is that it's always to change the perception. And we try to teach math, reading, science in isolation. It's math time. It's reading time. But in true essence, we should be teaching it through a STEM lens because that's what gets kids excited. Right. If you come in and say, hey, we're going to dissect a squid or a cow's eyeball and stuff, they're going to be like, what?
Right.
But then you tell them, well, let's learn about it. Let's calculate. So let's do the history behind it. Right. Let's figure out the geography. You can have that unit and have all the disciplines in that particular unit, and you're going to get kids more engaged because we have data to show it. You're going to get their attendance rates are going to go up because if they know tomorrow, the next week we're doing this, you better believe they're like, Mom, I can't miss school.
Right.
They're going to do this and they're going to do this. And so that's one of the things that just changing the perception, but then also giving the resources because there's a lot of stuff that's out there. Like you can go to Amazon and find a STEM kit, but it doesn't come with the ecosystem that we've created. We are really supporting the parents and the educators throughout this process because sometimes this is a learning process for them as well because they wasn't exposed to this. And so we walk them step by step. And so you asked me, unlimited, well, to have Nyla Nova STEM campuses throughout the nation. And then, we're constantly translating our materials into Japanese, Chinese, Spanish. We have it in multiple languages. So it can truly be international because it is fun, but it's interactive, it's engaging, innovative, and it's data-driven. The data shows that what we're doing is working.
Right.
The problem is with the funding is not there, it can't be sustainable. And we definitely want it to be sustainable, and that's where we need the community's help.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of that, right, so if someone watching or listening is like, I want to be a part of this, I love this mission, I want to, contribute, how can they do that?
So we do have links that they can donate, whether they donate a small amount, medium amount, large amount, or they want to be a reoccurring donor. We love it. Or they work for a company or organization that do sponsorships because one of the good things is like, for instance, this kit here, just say, for instance, it's a solar car.
Okay.
But we want to get with IMS right here in Indianapolis and say, hey, we can logo and put your logo on this car and on the packaging because we're right here, we created, and then they can donate 10,000 of these kits to the local schools. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. We call it the power of STEM, where the community gets behind it and says, we need to get these kits into every kid's hands.
Right.
And so we can, even like this one is an agricultural one.
Okay.
And so we're growing plants and pot seeds.
Oh, wow.
But it can be have your company's logo on it, your company's logo here. Right. It has a QR code on the back that can go to your company. Right. So if they have an organization they can sponsor, if they're a donor, they say, I only have $5, we will take it because that helps get that something into a kid's hands. And
Absolutely.
So we have something for that.
Yeah, so while we're talking about all the different kits, are there other ones that are maybe not here?
So we have the solar car, we have the agricultural one. This one is lights and lenses with magnifying glass. Okay. It's a different one.
Oh, I like that one.
Our original one is it's the plane, it's a glider.
Okay.
And so they can slide the glider around, it flies, and then they also have a parachute. And they calculate when they drop the parachute how far it is from the X. Then they can say, well, what do I need to do to exchange the location, the velocity? Do I need to change anything as well? So
it's amazing. So, Oh, we got some more here.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
That's the plan. Yes.
Right.
And then what's nice is the cute little Nyla Novas on there.
Yes.
And so, like I said, we make these here, so it's easy to put another company's logo on here, sponsored by, stickers, all of that, because we definitely want it to be a community, and we feel that's why we call it the power of STEM, because it can transform communities.
Right.
We had one class where we were teaching coding, and one of the parents loved it so much, they signed up for a coding class, and now they're transitioning from their current job to become a coder.
Oh my goodness.
And so it's not just helping kids,
yeah.
it's helping families. It's transforming the community, because she's like, I would have never tried it. I didn't know I was good at coding. I didn't know I could do it. And now she had the time and the access to doing it. And so it's transforming lives.
Yeah. So when we talked about the activity book, we have another one here. We might as well just talk about all the books here.
That is STEMVenture. So this is a chapter book. So this is for our ages like 2 to 4, grades 2 to 4, where it's actually taking them through the experiences that Nyla Nova are solving STEM mysteries, using some STEM skills. And so I was a big fan of like Encyclopedia Brown, Nancy Drew. So it's very similar to that, where they're figuring out, well, who done it or how can I do it? But it's like using the
Drone.
yes, you want to cut that. A tablet, it's math skills, it's literacy built in, because it has questions, comprehension questions. And so, and then we're bringing in new characters, so it's not just Nyla Nova, it has her friend Sam and her dog Coco and different ones that are solving these mysteries and stuff. So this is great.
That.
This is one of our workbooks, and so what's nice about if a school says, hey, we have teachers, if you just train them, we have materials for them, so they can have a licensed workbook. It has all types of lessons with objectives, standards, different lessons. It comes with a student guide and a facilitator guide as well. So that is that.
So you're also training the teachers too?
Yes, we have a whole teacher training program, because sometimes they said, well, we have the staff, but we just need the materials. And so we're like, we'd love to license out the materials to you guys. We'll train you to make sure you know and support you throughout the journey.
Right.
And that's what a lot of our after-school programs are kind of leaning towards now, because funding can be an issue, and they already have staff. Let's just equip them with the STEM materials that they can use, that's going to empower their students and their parents as well.
Wow, that's so good. And this one, I love
and
this.
This one was this is the one that's taking us around the world. This one we started on first, but we end up finishing the activity
first.
book.
Okay.
But this one, because our illustrator had to go in and illustrate all the pages.
Oh, wow.
And so this was like our legacy to Nyla. So it was basically how she gained her science superpowers. And so it has her family in here. That's her dad. That's her STEMsational mom.
Yes.
Who passed down her STEM skills.
Right.
And she goes in her mom's closet and puts on her lab coat. And then she realizes it's too big. But then all of a sudden, the lab coat fits her.
Wow.
She's transformed. Her crown comes on, her afro. And so with this, we've been really traveling. We have a picture, Nyla and I, in front of the Eiffel Tower with this book. Because one of the things is just to show, even someone that's thinking about writing a book, but they're like, well, it's just, what can I do with it? It is your ticket to get in. It's almost like your business card.
Yes.
It is your way in.
Yes.
So
that's
these
so
are our
cool.
books.
Oh, my goodness.
And so since we have an ecosystem, because most systems you might just have the books, or you might have kits, and then you might have a workbook, but not everything together. And so we have the fun. We have a music video.
Yes, I was going to say that
we have
too.
all these wonderful things, and so we're affectionately calling ourselves the Disney of STEM.
Yes, I love that. I love
because
that.
Because if you understand what STEM is, and then you think about Disney, what are some of the things that when you think about Disney, you think
the fun,
you think of all ages, and you think of the nostalgia, like you remember certain things, and you're like trying to get there and stuff. Like you're like, I need that feeling. I put my Mickey Mouse ears on. I do this. That's what we want them to have, that same feeling with Nyla Nova.
That is amazing. So one thing that I don't think we touched on was the age range.
Yes. And so it's so funny. I was like, me as a teacher, I was like, I'm doing middle school, high school. Once I got to high school, I was like, I cannot do the younger kids. But then I was like, okay, as I'm writing the books, building the system, it makes sense to start with the younger kids. And so we start as early as 3 years old. Our core program is 3 to 4th grade.
Okay.
So 3 to about 10.
Okay.
We've expanded it because the demand has been there. And once our students hit 4th grade, they go into 5th grade, they were begging the schools and their parents, I want some more Nyla Nova. And so now we actually can do K through 12.
Oh, great.
And so we just did a program at 16 Tech called I Can Be That.
Yeah.
And so we went in and showed them how to do the dissection and stuff, because even though they were high schoolers and I still have 5-year-olds dissecting, it's a different level. It's more of an advanced level, but some of them have never done it.
Right.
And so now we're pretty much, like I say, our core is still the younger kids, but we are extending the time from middle school to high school as well.
This is amazing. I love the ecosystem. Like the books, the music. We have to put the music is so catchy. The song is so beautiful. Yes. And there's a video too. So we're gonna put the link to the music video to it too. And it's just been so amazing. Thank you so much for all that you do. Your passion shines through. For you, it's really the passion of making sure the kids have the accessibility to STEM and connecting it to everyday life and in the community. And so thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining the board and helping us get our mission and vision out there.
Yeah,
so thank you.
It's just definitely a pleasure for me. I mean, honor for me. I'm learning a lot, and I just, if there was any organization I had to support, it was you. So
thank you. I appreciate it. Yes.
So we've talked a little bit about how people can support, they can big organization can get their names on the STEM kits. We do donations. We receive donations as well. There's going to be a link in the description to put all of that information in there. If you want to volunteer, or because we do have some events that we go to.
Definitely we can volunteer, packing STEM kits, passing them out, even coming to some of our programming to see it firsthand. We welcome visitors all the time.
Yeah, and do you want to talk about the family? Because I know that certain time of the year, there's that family programs as well.
So right now, we was very thankful that we got a grant through the Indianapolis Foundation. It's more about environmental equity. And so it's allowing the community to learn more about their environment, careers in the environment. And so we have a family program right now that's free for families. It's called Nyla Nova STEM Attack, because we're attacking some of the ills and the things that's going on in the community and changing those and transforming it. And so we meet twice a month. Right now we're at New Beginnings Fellowship Church on the east side. And so families, and our first meeting was 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing to see 30 people show up, and not for basketball, not for football, but for education, moms and dads. And so with this program, it runs for about an hour and a half. We feed them. We talk about the different things in their community. Last year was more of the dissection and getting to know the environment. This year is about their community. So we're doing water testing actually tonight. They're doing like the different types of waters, learning about water sources in their community. And then we're talking about food sources, because we talked about healthy choices of eating last year. But now it's like, where can I find these things? And so we're mapping out, do they live in a food desert? How can they access? Like, is it just nothing but fast food around you? Or can you go to a market and get something fresh? Do you even know where a market is located? So those are some of the things. And then we're talking about the careers and stuff and things.
That's amazing. So there's a ton of programs, for families, for kids, free. And then we have some opportunities to help make this vision come to life. So any way you can help support, I would really appreciate that. We're going to put a link below, whether that be buying the kits for your kid, because we can sell the kits individually as well.
They sell individually. You can. They make great gifts.
Yes.
Gifts. Someone at your church, someone around. Yes.
Right. Or if you want to sponsor a whole bunch, we love that too. It's just, seeing the impact behind your mission. Like, if your mission is to help impact the generation and like our community, this is a great way to do that, making sure that kids are exposed to STEM. So please, we also have some merch too,
so we have merch, Look, this our merch. Nyla Nova taking over.
Yes. Merch too. So is there anything else you'd like to leave us with?
It's so much. I just, as you say, the passion is there, the love for our community. And I'll just tell anyone that if you mix your passion with your purpose, you can't lose. And so I feel like I win every day when I get up to make a difference in someone else's life. And so I'm super excited about that. I just, just send some encouraging words and
Yeah.
stuff, because sometimes this mission can get a little tough, but I know it's bigger than me. And I always said I want to live a legacy, and especially for Nyla. And so I'm just thankful that I'm able to share my story.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you do. I love you so much, my friend.
Come on,
you know?
friend. I love you,
Love you so much. I know that you always encourage me. You're one I can call anytime. Like,
Likewise, I'd be like, I don't know about this,
Right.
Yes.
So I am so thankful for you, grateful for your friendship.
Thank you.
And for anyone listening, one more time, I'm going to say it again because I'm that passionate about it. Please check out the links. We're going to put the links to all the goodies here, donation into the description. And please support Nyla Nova. Even if it's just shouting out hi on social media, that goes a long way. I know we have such a strong social media presence, sometimes just sharing, resharing, commenting, that helps a lot, because then that just helps more people know about Nyla Nova too. So thank you again for joining us today. This wraps up this special edition for the Podcasthon. If you love this episode, you can find other charities doing the same thing from the month of March 14th to 20th at www.podcasthon.org. And so thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.